Common Bonds Between Death of a Salesman and Crime and Punishment by Zach Mansky and Taylor Fisher.
A young Russian student, Raskolnikov, believes himself to be an extraordinary man, one who has the right to commit crime. One day, Raskolnikov decides to go to a bar. At the bar, he meets an old drunk husband, Marmeladov, who spent the entire family savings on vodka and whiskey. The family is forced to send their daughter into prostitution just to save their family. In order to prove his theory correct, Raskolnikov needs to murder the old pawnbroker and her innocent sister. Immediately following the crime, the guilt strikes and poor Raskolnikov becomes ill. The story follows Raskolnikov in his internal battle.
Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller is a classic American realism play. The main character is an old financially struggling salesman named Willie. Willie has two sons named Biff and Happy, and a wife named Linda. Willie continuously tries to convince Biff that he is wasting his life away by not being rich, but Biff just wants to do what makes him happy. Later in the play, Willie becomes detached from reality and starts having mood shifts, sleepwalking, cheating on his wife, and even attempting suicide. This leads to class conflict and family struggles, so Willie commits suicide in order for Biff to use the life insurance money to start a business.
Fyodor Dostoyevsky's Crime and Punishment and Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman may come across as two totally different books. With further investigation, these two classics tie together smoothly. Crime and Punishment is the Russian story of a young man searching for wealth and revenge kills the local pawnbroker. The story follows his internal and outside punishment for his crime.
On the other hand, Death of a Salesman is an American realism play about a man who becomes obsessed with the idea of the American dream. The story of the near end of Willie's life is filled with arguments, dreams, and confrontations depict with overall inability to accept himself as a person in society. In both of these books, the main character goes down a path of self-destruction and ruins many relationships.
The story of Marmeladov's family clearly represents the lower class in the story and the overall class struggle of the time period.
The same occurs in Death of a Salesman when Willie becomes detached from reality. He undergoes an internal battle filled with sleepwalking, attempting to commit suicide, cheating on his wife, and many mood shifts. Willie suffers by not being able to find a stable mental state.
In Crime and Punishment, our first meeting with Raskolnikov is him walking outside of his tiny flat dressed in rags. He kills the local pawnbroker to inherit her money, which really exemplifies the need for money in Russia during the mid-1860s. Another example of the want for money is when Raskolnikov's sister, Dinah, marries Levine, a wealthy businessman, just for his riches and rank in the class structure.
Willie's family in Death of a Salesman clearly exhibits class conflict, especially after Willie does not get the office job. One can also see the class conflict by the way all the lowmen strive to be wealthy or obtain the American dream, except for Biff. The battle of class system is ultimately what kills Willie because he's extremely obsessed with the idea of wealth that he kills himself in order for Biff to inherit his life insurance money. The Death of the Salesman, which is the title of the book, is all caused because of the financial struggles Willie undergoes.
Crime and Punishment greatly influenced literature for its time and still continues to change the world of literature. This book was one of the first of the 20th century to depict the life under the Soviet regime. The existential movement that took place in the middle of the 20th century looked to Crime and Punishment and Dostoyevsky's other novels for the descriptions of human beings confronting mortality, despair, and the anxiety of choice.
Death of a Salesman is massively successful in theater and literature because the moral of the play was very unique and radical for the 1949 time period in which the play was written. The moral displays the damaging consequences of becoming obsessed with wealth. Willie's long path of destruction of himself and life resulted due to his obsession with wealth. Willie ruined his relationship with his wife by cheating on her. He wrecked his relationship with Biff by constantly putting massive amounts of pressure on him, and even at one point telling Biff to hang himself, just because Willie was angry that Biff did not want to be a businessman. Biff just wants to do what makes him happy. Two main ideas of this play that make it incredibly groundbreaking in literature is the idea of the destruction of all Willie's relationships, exhibiting how negatively the class system can impact one's life, and Biff's idea to pursue passion over paycheck which was unheard of for the time period.
What good am I?